Scots police failed to act on a recommendation to warn 33-year-old Louise Aitchison of an abusive partner for 5 weeks before she was brutally killed 2 years ago. Following an investigation, the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service are considering a fatal accident inquiry. Louise Aitchison from East Kilbride could be alive today had police warned her of her violent partner, Daryll Paterson, who had a history of violence against women. This information was in the police's hands at least 5 weeks before Paterson murdered Louise. Paterson admitted killing Louise by strangling her and then slashing her throat. The 37-year-old was convicted of murder and sentenced to 18 years in prison last January. Police Scotland has now apologised to Louise's grieving mum, Caroline Leon, for its shortcomings, but so far there has been no disciplinary action taken against the officers involved. What a surprise. Louise's mum Caroline said the police might as well have put a target on her back. Louise had just been moved to a new home in Park Avenue, East Kilbride, after being stalked and attacked by another man, but she was soon targeted by Paterson. When police visited the flat on March the 24th, 2020, they believed she could be at risk given his history of violence and domestic abuse. An officer submitted a Power to Tell application under the Domestic Abuse Disclosure Scheme, which allows potential victims of abusers known to the police to be warned of their violent history. However, an officer and a detective inspector wrongly assessed the risk as low and failed to record the risk assessment on the database. More than 2 weeks later, it was agreed Louise should be told about Paterson's history, but police again failed. This time they didn't include her current mobile number and address when recording the decision on the database. They also failed to give it an incident number or make clear the disclosure was still outstanding to anyone accessing the report. This catalogue of failures ensured that Louise was never contacted and never warned. On the day she was murdered, Louise made a 999 call which led to police attending and removing Paterson from her flat, but still no one warned her of his history. Within 60 minutes of police taking Paterson away, he returned, this time with a knife, where he proceeded to strangle her and slash her throat. The Police Investigations and Review Commissioner was asked to review the police contacts before Louise's death and concluded that had Police Scotland warned her about Daryll Paterson, as agreed, she may have taken action to avoid him and ensure her safety, possibly preventing her death. 2 years later, the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service are considering a fatal accident inquiry. East Kilbride's MP, Dr. Lisa Cameron, said the local community continues to remain both traumatised and angry over the murder of Louise Aitchison, who was known to so many people in the town due to her years working for a local dentist. She said, "This is one of the most disturbing cases I've ever had to deal with, not least because of the huge number of failures already admitted by Police Scotland, but also because of the number of unanswered questions which remain over how this could possibly have happened to a vulnerable and traumatised young woman who had already been moved for her own safety. I will be writing to the Justice Minister to ask hard questions about how a system supposed to protect and prevent cases like this from ever happening in the first place managed to let Louise and her grieving family down, not just once but so many times. It is unacceptable that the authorities who were supposed to protect Louise let her down so badly that she lost her life. I believe this whole case merits a full inquiry involving all agencies who played a part in what happened." A spokesman for the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service said, "We received a report from the Police Investigations and Review Commissioner and it is under consideration by the Scottish Fatalities Investigation Unit. The investigation is ongoing and the family will continue to be kept updated in relation to any significant developments." Chief Superintendent Alan Waddell, local policing commander for Police Scotland, confirmed police met with Louise's family and apologised for shortcomings in relation to the disclosure of information to Louise before her death. He said, "Although we decided to proactively tell Louise about Paterson's past offending, the information was never delivered. We do not know what Louise would have done with this information, but she should have been given it. We have reviewed the circumstances which were investigated by the PIRC under Crown direction and improved our systems and procedures to ensure we pass on disclosures under the scheme quickly and effectively." Do you see how even though they've apologised, they still try to make out it's not their fault? Chief Superintendent Waddell says, "We do not know what Louise would have done with this information, but she should have been given it." It's almost like they're saying, well, she could still have been killed even if we told her. What's the problem? I mean, it's absolutely sickening behaviour from Police Scotland. Just admit when you fuck up and stop constantly trying to worm your way out of your failings. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.